All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us on the Next Level Live. Yeah. Do it again for JP. Do a little more. Yeah. There we go. All right. So we have very special guests today. I got Jonathan Porcena, Steve Giordano, and Ivan. Is it Vedrov? Am I pronouncing that correctly? Vedrov. Okay. And the reason we asked the three of them to join us, we're going to start with JP, go to Steve, go to Ivan, and then we'll probably bring all of them up on the screen here at the end, is JP, one of the things, you got that, Mike. One of the things that I always knew about this business, JP, was anybody could be great at it. Make sense? Like anybody can be great at it. It doesn't matter. What I love the most about it still to this day is it doesn't discriminate against anything, but if you don't work hard, you don't have a good attitude, you won't be good at it. You work hard, your attitude is good. So, but you guys have a special contest or bet going. Is that fair? Is it the three of you?
Yep.
Okay. Fill us in on that.
So steak dinner, we were doing a podcast with us three and Bobby from America. And, just kind of threw down the gauntlet. It was like, you know what? Whoever highest issue pay numbers for the month of November he's going to fly out to that city and take us to the nicest steak dinner ever. So I'm looking forward to it.
Bobby's good when it's not his money. He is not afraid. he is not afraid to spend Americo's money, I think. Now, JP, for you personally, obviously competition's awesome and that's great. Why are you the steak dinner, you make enough money to buy a steak dinner every night for everybody in the community you live in. The end of the year, why is this so awesome for you and why are you participating in this? And I want to ask some of the things you're doing because that's what everybody wants to hear.
Well, I love to compete. That's one. In fact, Steve's coming from one of his biggest months ever. I'm just like, never did 100,000 in a month before. So, how about you try that out? And it's just proving to myself, have I ran to my capacity? And, I promised myself, all right, well, the 89,000 I did in July wasn't going to be my biggest month. So this is where I'm at.
So, I want to hear about that too, because, I always talk about, how excited I was to issue pay like 70, 80. I remember JP's like, yeah, I've done 100. I've done this. You ever done that? I'm like, nope. I sold a lot of insurance. I've never hit that in a month. And, but JP, I want you to walk everybody through, if you were, if you had 100 people that, you knew that were starting in this business with us and you could give us a 7-minute, I could record it and you could give me, 10 minutes. 10 minutes of what I need to know, what I need to do, probably what I need to not do, and what will ensure that I can issue 30, 40, 50 grand a month. What would those things be?
All right. I would talk about so the main thing is this. You have to make sure your schedule is down pat. Understand that, hey, the more people you could see throughout the week, the better for you. Even if you're not as good, all right, you're going to learn throughout the way because you're going to see that many more people. A full day is not seeing 4 people or 5 people or 6 people for that matter. A full day is getting out of your bed and being at the first client by 8 o'clock. And last client could be 8, 9 o'clock. I'm never scared. As long as they'll see me, I'm okay with going. And as you're going through that, you have to understand clients in general. To me, they're looking for someone to solve a problem. You need to identify the problem and make sure you're shining that bright light on it and see exactly what it is that's happening even after that's all happened. And as those things are happening, you're just like, you have to make sure you stay on that pain for a little bit. So I kind of equate that to if you're peeling a scab and you're picking at it a little bit. So because they have to feel it. They have to live through it in that few minutes that you're there. And after that, then you show them, hey, listen, this is how we could solve this. All right, because everyone's ready for, well, if this ever happened, my husband died, I'm I'm going to get 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 4 jobs. I'm like, you have 3 kids under 10. Like, who would be watching them? Well, I don't know. Okay, so I mean, do your mom live close? Like, do you have family around? Yeah. Do you think they would provide you with, free? Would they watch the kids for free? Do they have jobs of their own? I don't know. So realistically, I mean, what do you think would be easier? Saving this $200 a month, or getting ready to work 3, 4, 5 jobs and not knowing what's going to happen with the kids? Yeah, you're right. Just bringing people back to reality. But as you're doing all that, and you just got to understand me, and you got to have goals. If you're not having a goal to reach every single week, I don't know what you're doing. You're just kind of aiming aimlessly. So it's just it doesn't work out that way. It's just you're gonna get what you are given in a sense. So when I set out to do 100,000 this month, it was do or die. It's been done before. The person that's done it is a human being, and I'm a human being, and I'm gonna get it done. So the first 2 weeks of November, I mean, I issued 70 grand.
Jesus.
So
Hey, how much life business?
all like this.
Go ahead.
Show me the money.
So, as far as that, it's just like, all right, it's just making it to your goal. I mean, that's what I think. I mean, it's most important. But they have, and they're able to book as many appointments as possible. I would say 8 to 10 per day. You do that, I mean, you'll smoke anybody. Just ask Steve.
Well, and I like what you said. It had been done before. I mean, I think when and I like what you said about people. We were talking about this in Vegas. I mean, dude, we're human beings. None of what we do is unbelievable. We're people. I mean, let's not use the word unbelievable. It's unbelievable he did that. And then 12 days later, 17 people can do the same thing. It's not unbelievable. And then 1,700, then 17,000. So when you're in the house, JP, is that back? Can you fix that? Is that just kind of that
feedback? Yeah.
Feedback? Okay, we apologize for that. We're trying to get better every day. I love when you talk about having them. They have to feel the reality of the situation. The funny thing was, I remember I was in an appointment like my second month, and the husband actually said to me, "Why would I ever get life insurance with my wife?" They a couple young kids, and I said, "Well, same deal. Daycare. How much would it cost?" He's like, "Well, I never thought about that." Well, let's start thinking about it, bud. Like, let's start painting the picture of what that would actually cost, because you do work hard and she does stay home. But if she couldn't take care of the kids, what would you pay for it? I mean, it's just. But JP, you can say it, and people don't hear it until you drill it home.
Correct.
When you're in the house, JP, do you do mostly mortgage or final expense?
I do a mixture.
Okay.
Mostly mortgage.
All right. Give me the best thing you say, or best setup you have in the home on mortgage, to make sure that they know that thinking about it makes no sense, because they already thought about it and sent you a form. And then final expense as well. I know you're going to peel at the scab, like you said, and bring, make them, it's got to be real. But product wise, how are you, what is one thing in both appointments you must say for you to be successful?
Got it. Well, I think mortgage, it's all in your setup. So when I go in there, I need to find out what's going on with the mortgage. That's one. So getting the monthly payments, the interest rate, all that stuff. I have that. Find out exactly what their health is at. Find out what kind of work they're doing, how much money they're making. Some people, come to find out that they don't, ask what they're making. I'm like, how? You need to focus on what's going to be lost. So, hey, if that's 70,000 that's not going to be here, you need to know that. And I ask them what their goals are. I'm like, listen, so the great thing about America, we have 15-year cash back, 20-year cash back, 25, 30. So if you could protect your family, right, have money there if you become ill, and if nothing happened to you, pay off your house early, what would keep you from protecting your family? No. I like that. I like that. Like, especially like if you're not asking if they have plans to pay off their house early, like you're losing yourself, because it could be a small mortgage, of $100,000 or $90,000 still be a $200 a month premium because they're now cutting 10 years off. They're now cutting 15 years off. And that's like, I think that's one of the most powerful things we have as far as that goes. But as far as what I'm asking them, it's just like, all right, so this is something that you're doing now anyway. This is something that you have planned anyway. Because they're not thinking that, hey, I'm 40, by the time I'm paying this off, I'm 70. Would you like to get it done before retirement? Now, you know you're going to be getting paid less at retirement. Most people do. All right. Do we want to be worrying about this big mortgage payment? And the time to be able to do that is now, while you have your health, while you're able to work a little harder. And as those things are happening, you know, now if you have a heart attack in between, or if you have cancer or anything like that you have to deal with, at least you know you have access to the funds. And that's, to me, is what like kind of cements it all as far as the mortgage deal go. And they understand, like, hey, if they heard their wife having to sleep on mom's couch because she's not going to be able to, pay the bills, you gotta, again, the more you could bring them down to reality, the better. And, 9 times out of 10, they're going to do what's best for their family. As far as final expense, I mean, it's the same deal. It's just like, all right, who's going to be burdened with paying for this? At first they may say, well, I don't know, I'm dead. I'm like, got it. But, I mean, you sent this out for a reason. But let me ask you, who would you be leaving in charge of this? Who would be picking up the mess? Well, I mean, I guess my son would. Okay, now, do you know if he has that kind of money? Well, I don't know. I mean, well, maybe I should call him and ask him and do this. And I tell people, I'm like, listen, I'm third of 6 kids. All right. If my mom call me about anything financial, I'm like, don't worry, Mom, you don't have to take care of it. We'll take care of it. But here's the thing: death is never convenient. So, though they're working right now, if they're going through something themselves at that point of time, guess what? It is a burden. They're gonna have to do a fish fry. They're gonna have to, GoFundMe page and all that stuff. It's just like, if they're mourning you, and yet they have to go beg for money. Why would you put them in that position? Let me ask you: would you go to a nice steak dinner, right? The whole family's there. Check comes out, and you walk out the back door? No, I would never do that to them. Exactly. See, that'll be a few $100s. Now we're talking about $10, $15, $20,000. So if we wouldn't do that, we're not going to do this. Grab your driver's license and avoid the check so that way we can get this taken care of. Done deal.
See, I think, Mike, can you mute him? I'm going to go roll diving. And I think that one of the things that you have to do when you're listening to these individuals and all the people that we got that are providing the training, that are having all the success, what you have to do is listen to the way they talk about it. Because I think while JP, you're involving them, you're nicely telling them what to do because you know what to do. Like, you know what needs to happen next. You understand what needs to. And I think when you listen, Mike, we could probably take 1,000 producers and they could say, but I say that. And I go, but you don't say it that way. You don't want to do that, right? You wouldn't want to leave them, right? You wouldn't. I mean, the steak dinner analogy is a great analogy, but the reality really is it's unless you say it, like, you wouldn't do that. Of course I wouldn't. Okay, well, then that's only $200. This is $10, $15, $20, $25,000. Grab your driver's license, avoid a check. Let's get this taken care of. Presumptive. If everybody that's watching this, listen to this, sees this eventually, will just be more presumptive, you'll win more. Because the presumptiveness is the key. Yes, working hard, the train, all of that. Attitude is is your presumptiveness. If you walk in that door and tell me what I need to do, and I fill out a form, I'm going to do it. Because I've asked you to come tell me what to do nicely and point out the points of pain, fear my redundancy, and the points of pain that you have if you don't do it. I mean, we had a guy one day, Mike, and he used to say, "What do you say when you walk in?" He goes, "I walk in and final expense and go, well, if you don't do it, I need to make a list of who's about ready to be screwed over because somebody's paying for your death, and it's not going to be you. You're going to walk out, I guess, that proverbial back door, right?" So JP, I always love what I love about this too. We're in Vegas, and a couple guys said to me, "There's no tricks to this. Like they're waiting for the new trick, right? Like this guy or girl is going to get up, and there's such a wealth of sales stuff, and they're going to dazzle them. And the people just get up and go, nope, I say this and I say this, I don't say this, and when they say this, I say this, and I really want to see the people taken care of. So, JP, I appreciate it, buddy, and it should be noted that JP is in the lead.
Yes, he's number one.
600 some odd out. Now doesn't mean he's going to beat Ivan and Steve because I'm, who would you bet on? All of them. Who you betting against? None of them. I would bet on all of them, and I would bet against none of them. So I have no idea. They're all too good. They work real hard, and when they see something, I love that, Mike. Like think about how we raised the bar. We launched a company, Ivan. We were trying to get people to believe they could submit $10,000 a week. Because we always did, like we knew everybody could submit $10,000 a week, and everybody can. And we were talking about doing 20. I remember somebody said, "Do you really think people can do $20,000 a month? Really?" And we got people doing $100,000 a month in life business. Now, do I think everybody can do $100,000? I'm sure everybody can do 20. I'm 100, and I'm actually sure that everybody can get to Hall of Fame if they're willing to work hard enough. Wasn't anything special at this. Now 5, 6, 7, 800 grand. I don't know. Talk to one of these guys and girls that have done it. I haven't done it. You know what I mean? So, Ivan, you with me, buddy?
How you guys doing?
My man, I could not be any better. Ivan, listening to first of all, thank you for what you do. I'm thankful for everybody that helps any families, whether you help one family a week, 100 a week, 1 month. I thank you because you never know. We spend Mondays, Ivan, anybody that's, tend to have had something happen and a death over the weekend is when we get to, hear about it and figure it out and try to help. So we that continues to happen. So you guys and girls have no idea when you leave somebody's house, which I know because I've done it for years, you don't know when it'll be anybody's time. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Shawn.
No, you're welcome, man. I appreciate you. So you, Jonathan, and Steve have a bet, right? Whose idea was that, by the way?
Was it Bobby's or Mark's? I don't think it was ours, but I was kind of joining because whenever we were recording the podcast, I said, "Oh my gosh, these two guys are beasts." So I'm not sure why you guys brought me on that podcast. they started going at each other, and I'm like, you know what? Like I'm gonna drop the gloves too. I'm using hockey analogy here. So, but
go for it. I'm following you. I like it.
So, and we did. I was just kind of, I'm definitely want to join because it's all sport for me. So, and obviously, as you said, we can buy 10 steak dinners like tonight, not a problem whatsoever. So just, I like Steve, I like Jonathan. So it's just pleasure competing with you.
So Ivan, little background: how long you been selling life insurance?
For 3 years.
3 years, okay. And you've been with us for how long?
2 years.
2 years, okay. And your first year, calendar year, or whatever it was from date to date, how much did you pay in life business your first year?
$39,000.
$39,000. Okay, so that's something that happens. Like, think about Jack Yu, where he's like, I couldn't issue $100,000, and now I issue $400,000 or $500,000 a year with Family First Life. Ivan, I want to hear, and I want everybody to hear, explain to us what happened, because you're Ivan doing $39,000 a year. You're Ivan doing now, I guess, $600,000 a year. Explain to us some things you changed about what you were doing, how you were doing it. Maybe there's just some things you had an opportunity that you didn't have back in the past. But walk us through how you go from being a $39,000 a year producer to somebody who's doing more than $39,000 a month every month.
Well, absolutely. So first things first, I got my hands on leads. Yes, there were age leads in the beginning. Then I was able to diversify, do final expense, mortgage mailers, things of that nature. So, but I mean, anytime I'm going to meet with people and I'm meeting with them, I'm actually, I'm very presumptive and assumptive, because if I'm there, in my mind, the only thing I need to do is just to get them to trust me. That's about it. That's about it. Because at the end of the day, they are going to meet with somebody else if I'm not going to take care of their family. So that's the way I look at it. And second thing is, they need it. They truly do. Because when we meet with all these families and ask them all these questions, like how's your finances set up? What is your income? How does it look like for your spouse financially if something happens to you tomorrow or today? So and clearly you analyze their situation and you see that it wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be good. So, and in my mind, at that point, I just gotta get them to trust me. And the way I do it is I just tell them who I am, where I'm from, what my goal is for today's meeting, and essentially that I'm a broker. I work with a bunch of different companies, and I also tell them that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who they work with. They all the brokers have the same access to all the same companies. So, which is not true a lot of the times, because not all brokers have access to America.
Right.
So at the end of the day, that's a game changer too. That carrier is something. They're the reason we have this contest here. But at the end of the day, it's very, very, very straightforward process when you have Americo, because you have that. I shouldn't say magic tool. They're a good company, so there's no magic there, but instant approval on the spot, all the living benefits, cash back when it comes to mortgage protection, and how you design it, how you explain it to people that they not only going to be able to protect this mortgage, because I also kind of think about psychology and what's going through a person's mind that just purchased the home. So they're definitely not looking to get another bill, but I mean, they, due to their finances and how the spouse will feel without this coverage, it's a must. They need to get that. But also, if you can back it up by logic of paying that mortgage off by 5 years, 10 years sooner, they're fired up about it, because they're not excited to pay that mortgage either. And I know it's 20 years, 25 years, but still, I'm trying to understand and be empathetic to each family, what they're going to go through next 20 years, 25 years, and how we can help them. And essentially just trying to make them also realize that that's a must. This is not a luxury. This is something that they need to have. It's not a brand new Mercedes that they need to buy. This is just something of essence. And gaining their trust, the way I gain their trust is, there's a few ways, but at the end of the day, if you're meeting people for the first time in your lifetime, and they do as well, if you're not going to tell them that you're trustworthy, how are they going to know? They're not going to. So that I'm telling them straightforward, hey guys, I want to be honest with you. We're going to talk about this 2 sensitive topics, death and finances. Can I do that? They say yes, and I say, can I expect the same from you? And they say yes. So then I couple that with telling them about where I'm from, where my office is located. Here's my office number. Who's going to pick up the phone if they're going to call this number? Who's going to pick up the phone if they call that number? So, and this way they know, and the general appearance, and compassion. So I think that helps a lot when people truly believe they need to, that they can trust you, they can deal with you. You're going to be there for them, because at the end of the day, they need it. They realize they need it. Sometimes you need to say a few things to help them realize they truly do need it. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to, can they trust you? Can they trust you to bring that check for $200,000 to their family, to pay off that loan, to help with other bills if they get critically ill, stuff like that. So does that make sense? Does that make sense, Shawn?
That makes perfect sense. And I think one of the things, I was listening to Andrew Taylor one day years ago, and his close ratio, Ivan, was like 25%. And his close ratio was 25% because he provided no structure. He didn't change as a human being. He didn't become one thing and was another. No, he would walk into people's houses, and he'd be the first one to tell you this, and there was no plan. He was just going to talk to them and kind of let them lead the way. And you know where they let him? Out the door with no check and no protection, because they didn't want to be in charge. They wanted him to be in charge. But since he wasn't in charge, and we have he loves me sharing this because it's so pertinent for all of us, but you have to provide, we talk about sense of urgency all the time. It's one of the truest things I've learned, Ivan, in business in 12 years is, and I've said it a bunch, so it's worth repeating, but your short-term goals and structure. You provide a client, agent, your kids, you want a sense of urgency. So, and I think the reason you're building trust, Ivan, is you don't sound like a salesman because you're not. You want them to be okay. You're going to challenge them. You're going to have enough strength and assertiveness, presumptive, assumptive, to tell them what they need to hear and how they need to hear it. So why would I not think that you're serious about what you do and the professionalism with which you provoke? Hey, here's who I am. Here's what I do. Everybody is not the same. Everybody does not have all these options. No, I think America's products are the best in the mortgage market. I do. I have no problem saying that. They're the best in the mortgage market. They're not, as you said, they're not magical. They're the best mortgage product there is for a variety of reasons. You're all talking about the extra benefits, the years you can break down, getting people's money back. And guess what? I didn't grow up in a house. It was an apartment. If my mom had ever gotten a house, that would have been the biggest investment she ever had. And that would have been everything in the world to her. Why would she have not wanted to protect it? And heck, why would she not want to pay it off 5-10 years earlier? Because the majority of people, that's the way it works, man. I get my house, I get that paid off one day. I have an asset, right? I can pull money off if I need to. If I'm going to send kids to college or I want to retire, it's part of my retirement. So we got to protect them. Ivan, what is, from a lead standpoint, and did you work somewhere where you didn't have leads?
Yes, first year, no leads.
So let me explain this, because this is a new pet peeve of mine, Ivan. I'm a pet peeve kind of person. If you work at a company that does not have leads, you need to do one thing: quit. You can do anything else you want. You can go never sell life insurance, go do real estate, go get a job in retail, go become a stunt man, stunt woman, but quit your position right now, because you have no shot. You will die a financial death. There's no doubt about it. So at the end, because Ivan, it doesn't work. Cultivating lists doesn't work for anybody but the employer or the owner. It doesn't work for you. It'll never work for you. You'll make, if you make 39 grand a year, you're really good.
My commission was 50%. It wasn't 39 grand.
There you go. So $19,500. Boom, you shoot.
Show me the money.
Yeah. So Ivan, as we're hiring, we need to be aware of how many people are out there in that situation. There's no gray area there. No leads, bad, you'll go broke. Leads, you got a shot. You have no shot with no leads. Anybody that tells you that is lying to, and they know they're lying to, they don't care. They give you terrible commission. They're going to keep most of your money. And as long as they cycle through a few of you, they don't care. Because they make such a big spread, it don't matter to them. They don't want to try to figure out how do people get leads. They don't worry about agents going ahead and buying it. They don't want to be involved in investing in their agents. They don't want to have to worry about agents not paying lead bills. We don't worry about agents not paying lead bills either, because they get paid. We're not worried about them because they have money. They get paid. They wouldn't ever not pay the lead bill, because the lead bill are taking $1,000 and turning it into $27,000, or 2 into 30, or 1 into 9. Their ROI is too good. Or they're buying $500 on Facebook leads, selling 30 grand a month. We're not worried about that. So Ivan, I think about that. It's about, had you not found Family First Life, had you not found an entity that allowed you to have high comp, get leads, and get rolling, what would you be doing financially?
I have no idea, Shawn. I was desperate at that point. So, and I was lucky to find you guys. So,
well, we're sure as heck lucky to find you. I think we might be a little more luckier than you, but I mean, for your situation. But it's just, Ivan, that's the stuff that's why we do what we do, because there are a lot of people out there like you who are working as hard as they can to make 20, 25, 30. And you know what they're told? They're told the industry's no good. They get done at the end of the year. They talk to somebody, go, man, I worked and I only made X. They go, that's because you can't make money in that industry. No, you can. You just can't make it with no leads. You can't make it with low comp. You can't. You can't make it paying fees. I was talking to Carrie the other day, like, so what do you charge for the convention? And I go, nothing. They go, no, but what do you charge the agents? Nothing. No, but 3 times. But the agents, they say most of the people charge $495 and they have VIP tickets. I'm like, we don't do VIP because that would be weird. Nobody's more important than anybody else. Some people did more in the year. We'll recognize them, but they're not like more important human being than the others. That would be weird. So we don't charge them. And they just can't fathom that's the way it's supposed to work. That's not magical, and it's not unbelievable. It's the way that it should work. Ivan, is it only mortgage protection, or do you do some final expense too?
In the mix, yeah.
In the mix.
Just a little bit, just supplement. Yep,
give me, I want you to, before I bring on Steve, walk me through a client that filled out a mortgage protection lead, okay, and due to age and maybe some health, their only option is going to be whole life, or we call it final expense, right? But so now, the guy's 54 years old, his wife's 52, and man, he filled it out and was excited, and I want some mortgage protection. I'm pumped, but I had this thing in my heart 3 years ago, and I had this other thing over here. Walk us through that, Ivan. How does that process work for you, so you can make sure you still get insurance and get coverage?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of my favorite sales and favorite appointments. So that's That's how I treat it. And at the end of the day, the reason why is because there's people that have some health conditions, they're at the higher risk of something happening. So, and that is why we get to help them. Well, and my point of view on this is I'm not the one that I don't feel guilty about going there and helping them with whatever I can, because I'm not the one that put them in that position that they. And I hear that a lot, that like from clients, hey, we should have taken care of that earlier. This is not as good as it could have been. And I agree with them. And I just, the only thing I'm thinking is, well, I'm not the one that puts you in that situation. I should not. And I know a lot of people feel guilt. They're like, oh, we can only get them whole life to protect the payments. And I don't, I think we help those people even in the bigger way.
I don't think the agents, I don't think the agents feel guilt. I think, and I'm being nice, and this is a safe place, I think they don't have the courage to stand up for what's right. I don't think they feel guilt. I think that the client is in control of the appointment. The client's the one providing structure. And since the client's always been in control of the appointment from the time they got there, then they go, you're not eligible for this. The client turns around and goes, well, I don't want that. Well, guess what? You need more life and you need insurance more than the guys I just met, because they don't have the health problems you have. You have to have this, and you do need to get it. And covering the mortgage for a year, 2, 3 years is the best. Matter of fact, I'd argue that your program is better than the couple I just wrote who have zero medical issues. You're going to cover payments for 2 years, and with all due respect, with your health issues, you're a much greater risk than the other people I met earlier. So I'd actually argue that your product's better. I wouldn't argue it's inferior. Yours is superior. Yeah, should you've gotten it earlier? We can't live in the past. I don't live in the past. I tell my clients, I live in today. Let's today and move forward. I can't undo what you did or didn't do, but I love what you're saying, Ivan. You're right. But I think people say it sometimes. Well, I felt really bad. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You didn't want to be judged. You weren't in control. You didn't feel bad. If you felt bad, you would have gotten them coverage. You felt bad for you, not for them. See, you can't be afraid to take the proverbial fight about what the truth is to the client. You're not doing anything wrong. Hey, let me explain to you what we're looking at here. Well, I thought I would just get this. Well, guess what? You're not eligible for it. And here are the 3 reasons why. But hey, don't worry about it. I got this for you. And by the way, if I owned the insurance company, I probably wouldn't write you a policy. I'm not being mean, but if I owned it was my money, I'd pick all the people who have no medical issues at all. And sir, you have some. You're going to live forever, you think. Great, you won't live forever, but I'm not saying something's going to happen to you tomorrow. But we know that we need to protect it. So I think, Ivan, you guys don't do that. And there's plenty of guys, girls we got that just don't do that because they're in control. And I go back to my buddy Andrew Taylor because he's okay with me talking about it. That stuff Andrew they did with Andrew, and they walked him out the house. He closed 25% because I stand until the day I die that if you go show up, 25% of people say yes. You don't have to about do nothing. If you show up and you can walk in the door and not like break the lamp there or put your foot through the sheetrock, they'll go ahead and let you. 25% of them are going to they're going to buy no matter who comes in, and as long as you're a decent enough human being, they're going to purchase from you. We're trying to make sure we scoop another 50% up and get you a 75% close ratio. And that other 50% comes from providing structure. And a lot of times, Ivan, if you're the only one with an insurance license, why would it be up to them to decide how we move? They'll ultimately make whatever decision they want to make. Their driver's license, their voided check, that's all good. But as you're presenting those options and letting them know what they have or don't have, you're the only one with an insurance license in there, right, Ivan?
100%. Yeah, no doubt. So, and basically, I think it just, their decision of whether to buy this insurance or not comes from you setting up the structure, whether it's
Correct.
Traditional mortgage protection appointment or mortgage payment protection. It really doesn't matter to me. So, and even if they have 100,000 of whole life insurance and it's a legit insurance, everything's good. But we only adding, because of their age, we only adding 10,000, 15, 20,000, or maybe even 30 just to protect that payment. It really doesn't matter as long as you very presumptive and assumptive and letting them know you can be trusted, and it's going to help them. I like how one of my buddies say, like, there brings an analogy with $100 bill and a $10 bill. So I use that a lot. I just say, if you go to the store to buy a bread and milk, costs you $7.62, and you have a $100 bill and a $10 bill, which one are you going to pull out to pay for it? Well, $10. Why? Well, because if I pull out 100, I'm going to break it and I'm going to spend it. So same thing here, Mr. and Mrs. Client. You have $100,000. That's for your income replacement. Let's take care of this mortgage payment protection. I break it down, what the retirement looks like. If your wife is completely healthy, Mr. Client, we definitely can expect her to live long, and she will need a lot of money. So, and we need to add a little more today. So, and I just go over that. And I think just setting up the structure and telling them why you're there, how you're going to do it, spending 2 minutes for this, 3 minutes for that, 5 minutes for that. And then essentially tell them, like, my goal is to get you something that makes sense and fits the budget. If I could not do that, I'm going to be out of here in no time. But if I can, we're going to have to first see if you even qualify, because, you know, you already told me over the phone you don't even hope to get this insurance. But trust me, I can help you. But if we can find something that makes sense and fits the budget, we're going to have to first see if you even qualify. So, and, you know, it usually works well.
And Mike, when you just listen to him talk, I mean, I could listen to you train all day long. And JP the same way. I'm sure Steve will be great. It's that indifference you have. I want to help you, and believe me, but like, if you don't get the policy, like, okay, I want you to, and you need to, your friend, but what you're void of, Ivan, in a good way, is you're void of you. You're going to meet enough people to make money. None of that, what you talk about, comes across like, I need it. I need you to buy this. I need to make this sale. I need this commission, which of course happens because you have you're very high activity. But also, Ivan, people they're not going to buy something from you because you beg them to. They're going to say no. Desperate makes them nervous. Yep. You know, people want what they can't have inevitably. I mean, I don't know if you're eligible. See, and I think that comes across the whole critical care coverage too, is let's see what you're eligible for. Here's the good news. This premium is good forever. It doesn't go up, yada, yada. I mean, but Ivan, what you're saying is less important than how you're saying it, because you're saying everything that you should be saying, but it's how you're saying it, which is why I'm like in a trance listening to you. And you're in control. I'm about to go get a voided check on my driver's license right now, and I'm like not in the same state as you to get some insurance, you know? So
I got a stat here. So Ivan was our quickest agent to join the Millionaire Club.
Really?
He did it in 23 months.
23 months. Did you know that, Ivan? You issued $1 million in 23 months?
I did. I think Steve's going to beat me, though, but we'll see.
Hey, records are made to be broken.
Oh, that's right.
Don't worry about it, man. But that's a great accomplishment. Ivan, thank you, man. You're an absolute blessing to the organization. Yep. So thank you for jumping on today, buddy.
Thank you.
Got it.
Thank you, Shawn. Thank you, Mike.
You got it, buddy. So now we're going to go to Steve. How we doing, Steve?
I'm doing great, gentlemen. Yeah, it was 137,000.
No need to look it up.
But who's counting? Steve, first of all, I think what you should do you run business on Sundays?
Sometimes, not during football season.
When the Dolphins are playing, I need you to suit up. Okay, because you look like you can still play, and hell, they could need some help. Yeah. So I'm just saying. I'm not trying to. We had a guy from an NFL team. We're not going to mention the name of the team, but they called us and they wanted us to write some marketing, right? They found us online, and I walked by Mike's office. Sizer's talking. I don't know who it is on speakerphone. He's like, "Well, we'd like to do some stuff with an NFL team, but you would definitely not be our first choice." This team actually, what's the Dolphins' record?
2-8.
This team is right with them. Yeah. They might have one more win. So there'd be a good match. Y'all played. So nobody get hurt. Nobody hits hard enough, and y'all just like finish 10-4 or something like that. Steve, first of all, thank you. I think one of the things that you have to understand is you guys and girls that do this every month, every week, every day, you're very inspirational to people. I talk about you all the time to agents. I talk about a lot of you that are doing well to agents all the time. I talk about people who've been with us for a day, for a year, people that are doing $138,000 a month, people that are doing $3. I'm trying to help people understand how simplistic this can be. If you do some of it. So for me, I'm morbidly like crazy curious. What was your previous best month before this past month?
88.
Okay. Still a pretty darn big number. Okay. How long have you been in the life insurance industry, Steve?
I started in December of last year, part-time. So I was part-time December and January and went full-time in February, right after convention.
This year of 19 or 18?
This year.
Good. So you went full time in this year. You make me feel bad about myself. No. So walk me through. You'd ever sold life insurance before?
Nope, never.
Okay. Walk me and walk all of us through that transition. And when did you know that numbers like 60, 70, 80, 100, 130 grand a month were achievable?
Yeah, so first, it's an honor. And the number one thing I'd like to say is these two gentlemen on the call inspire and drive me, being a rookie, essentially, every single day. And I thank them for that. You know, when I started, it was literally, a year ago, practically. I didn't really, I understood what I was doing, and I understood the training, and I listened to it ad nauseum, but I didn't really understand numbers and writing that type of premium. Or, I remember thinking back to the convention and leaving there and saying, how do I do 10K a week? Like, what does that look like? And I had all that training and knowledge, and I was still just trying to figure it out. I remember talking to my wife when I got back, and I was like, I'm writing out these numbers of what we need to do, and I just don't know how that's even feasible. And now I look back at that, and I'm like, wow, how would I not do that every week? Like, I'm going to be kicking myself if I'm not. And really, it's plugging into the system. I am a full-on product of a really, really awesome system. Training is second to none. If you just dedicate yourself and dedicate your time to your craft, you're going to just become better at it. I think between discipline and running a really tight and hard schedule and plugging into the training, there's really no way that you cannot be successful and do successful numbers and things.
So you know what's funny, man, is when I get into something, right, like I want to learn as much as I can about it. I think that's part of our issue, I think, Steve, is I know I don't know, and that's a gift. If I start doing something, like when we launched company, I knew I didn't know how to do it. Okay? We launched company, but I knew I was deficient in all the areas and had to become as proficient as fast as I could. So I got around people that knew what they were doing. I watched, I read, I did a lot of observation and really tried to get better every single day. Okay? Had you ever been in people's homes before to sell anything?
No, never. I was in the restaurant industry my entire career.
Got it. Okay. Did you ever have any experience with life insurance, like personally? I'm just curious. Like, did you see it where it was rewarding, where it wasn't? Did you ever have any kind of, or just no? You just not even?
I had one instance. It wasn't life insurance. I had a fire in my home when it was probably like 15 years ago. We didn't have renter's insurance.
Got it.
So I kind of understood the impact of just insurance in general. Got it.
And if I asked you, and I didn't, you'd met me on the street, and I said, Steve, man, explain to me your client. I want to know who your client. Give me your average. Hey, I was thinking about doing what you're doing, but Steve, so I know who is a prototypical Family First Life client.
Middle America, and it's funny you should mention this. I just had an appointment this morning, and literally when I walked in the door, 82-year-old lady, she looked like she was 62, and she basically said to me, I really need you for guidance. And she had a term policy, was running out, and we've all kind of walked into those scenarios. And it struck me like, yeah, I'm here to guide you. And I just told her, I said, you're in good hands. I'm going to take care of you and, make it happen for you. So Middle America, people that need our help.
But I like what you just said. I think, and it's funny, I'm not going to say I was smart enough to have said this before you said it, but it changed my answer. Our clients, I wasn't going to use the word guidance, but I was using something else, but your word's more fitting. Our clients are looking for guidance. They're middle Americans who have not figured out how to protect their mortgage, their family, their indebtedness at a final expense, right? Funeral, cremation. They're middle Americans who have decided when they saw this form, went online, were on Facebook, that what they have, I don't have. And if I have some, it's not enough. I'm still worrying about it, and I need guidance. I don't really know what I have. I don't really know what I need, but I need somebody to guide me. That's our prototypical client, right? So if mortgage section, you'd say maybe average age is 37. Final expense, maybe average age is 65. Average face amount in mortgage section might be 108. All that, I could give you all that data. But at the end of the day, they're looking for guidance. So for everybody that's watching this today, what these three do, and we have plenty of people do it every day, What y'all have decided is that you are qualified to guide them. They are in good hands. When you say that to me, Steve, I start going like, yeah, I feel more comfortable. I will take care of you. You're in good hands. I'm not here because I'm going to make X amount in your sale. I'm here because I do want to guide and protect you because I enjoy doing what I'm doing. I am paid, not by you, by the insurance carrier. You don't pay me anything. I'm paid by them. So I'm good, but I want to guide you. So can you imagine how counterintuitive it would be, or how confusing is a better word, it would be for a client if you didn't guide them? If they knew how to guide themselves, Steve, they would have done it before you got there. They would have already taken care of this, bud. They drive by 12 places a day on their way to the coffee shop that say life insurance on them. They see ads all the time. They know somebody who sells life insurance. 7 degrees separation. They could give you a family member, friend, somebody they played ball with. They know somebody that sells life insurance, but they haven't figured out how to be guided to that place. So we have to understand that when you listen to all three of you talk, it's the presumptiveness with which you speak. It's the confidence with which you speak. It's not because you're saying hey, when it comes to life insurance, I know more than anybody in America. I've studied. You don't. No, you genuinely care about guiding people and protecting them. That's a better word, Mike, for us from a training standpoint. We need to use more often. I mean it, Steve, is the guidance. And isn't it funny that if you just ask the client, they'll tell you. Right. And she felt comfortable, or she wouldn't have said that to you, because you don't do that with somebody you don't feel comfortable with. You kind of, because that's the other thing. You go, I tried that, Shawn. Yeah, but they didn't feel comfortable with you. And usually they don't feel comfortable with you. They think they don't know why you're there. You don't make your motives crystal clear. Here's who I am. Here's where I live. Here's what I've gone. I mean, you tell them some things. Here's what I've gone through. Here's my life. I mean, it's always love when clients they'd be like late at night. Hey, or could be in the morning. You want a beer? And I'm like, dude, today's Saturday. If I say yes, I'll be here until Thursday. And where do I sleep? And I'd say I've been sober for X period of time. I can end up anywhere, bud. So, be careful when you offer me a beer. And you got to have more than 12. I'm big on 30 at a time. So, do y'all have a 30-pack? I roll with 30 packs. And what else? And I was honest about it. B, I hold myself accountable by doing that. But C, I want to connect with them too. And it is what it is. I'm not pretending. But at the end of the day, Steve, I think we in 2013 had a struggle getting people to understand they could write 10 grand a week, kind of like you left your first meeting. How am I going to do that? And we now believe that moving in 2020, we're literally talking about how everybody can be to 400 grand a year. Do I think everybody can do 130 grand a month? I'm not saying they can't. I'm just saying that's a lot. But 30 grand plus a month, 400 some odd $1,000 a year, we think we can help everybody get there if the activity is high enough. Now, how many days do you dial?
2 days.
2 days.
I do the traditional Monday, Thursday, and run Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday.
Got it. Okay. And Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, those 4 days, you're in the field every week?
I'm loaded up.
Loaded up.
Usually.
Every week. No matter what's going on, no matter what your friends want to do, no matter what kind of weather you got, no matter what kind of birthday party these guys have or girls have, you're in no matter what.
That's it. I don't let things get in the way of my goals.
How did you were an employee before in the restaurant business, right?
Yeah, I was a district manager.
Okay.
So I did kind of have that, running the business dynamic.
So you're a little more independent. What have you seen with agents you've worked with or other agents you've just seen? What have you seen them do that's detrimental to that? Them not allowing themselves to be full-time as an independent contractor. What are some of the things you see them do and that you wish they'd overcome quicker?
Yeah, a lot of the biggest things right off the bat with some of my agents is they do let things get in the way. So to me, I just talk to them about mapping out your month. If you have a spouse, if you have kids, if you have events, whatever it is, put it on the calendar and then, work around it. For me, I love football. I go to all the games and everything. But during July and August, I did run Sundays. And then I just understand, all right, well, I'm going to work, those months, and then I'm going to, tweak it during football season or whatever the case might be, when there's family events, church events, whatever it might be. So I think they let a lot of the personal stuff get in the way of the successes that they could be having. because they're making those things number one. For me, number one is providing for my family, protecting the families that are out there, paying my mortgage. And then from there, there's football and there's all these other things that I like to do and love to do or whatever other obligation. So I'd say just not letting that stuff get in the way of your success.
I think it's also embracing the fact that being an independent contractor is insanely rewarding, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of structure, and it's a lot of discipline, you know. And I think that when you can accept that and live it, you know, I was kind of like, you know, I'm old, right? So back in the day, nobody was wanting to be an entrepreneur. Like when I was growing up, nobody talked about that. High school, college, it was like they just didn't. It wasn't a thing. To be honest with you. And now everybody wants to be one, except they don't want to pay the price. Everybody wants to go make $5, $6, $7, $1 million a year. Everybody I talked to. Money's not everything. I didn't say it is, but everybody would like to have more because it's a capitalist society. Everybody, whether it's to give it away, everybody would like to have more. It's not everything, but it's important. Except they don't want to do the work and they won't invest the money. They won't do the work or won't invest the money. You know, it's like I used to work with a guy and I was like, you like a squirrel. Like every time he got $1, he went and put it away somewhere. But he had a team. And I'm not, listen, please go do what you want to do. But if you're looking to build a business, first 3 years, Steve, Family First Life, us running it after paying mortgage and bills, guess how much I had? Not much, bro.
Mm.
I mean, I went to some games too, no doubt. Mortgage first, kind of same as you. Did stuff with the kids, but we were not banking anything. There was no big worry. Listen, if somebody robbed the bank I use, I wouldn't have been worried about it at all. Like, first of all, I was definitely insured. I didn't have that much. And what I had wasn't that big of a deal either. So I wasn't like going to lose any sleep. Mike was like, dude, you hear they knocked over Dime Bank? I'd be like, Yeah, I mean, like, whatever, dude. I mean, they ain't getting very far with that money. You know, I didn't worry if I lost my credit card. There wasn't much on it. I wasn't like, oh, my God, I lost my wallet. Who cares? You got too much gas, you're going to get declined. It wasn't, but we wanted to build this thing, and we wanted to make a massive difference in people's lives. And I think that if you're willing to work harder and you're willing to invest more and be smart about it, I don't throw money out the window. Dude, that stuff doesn't excite me, man. We have this office now because we had to get big. We don't have like a bunch of murals painted outside with our names on them and welcome to the Shawn Meaike. I mean, that'd be weird. We don't, you know, I always like when my agency's the same name as me. I'm like, that's good for just you. You know, number one, my name nobody can pronounce because it's Meaike. And that just seemed very self-serving. You know, when we have people join us, I had a guy the other day goes, what's the first thing you would do? I said, change the name of your agency. That's why I go, it's your name. It's awkward. I just imagine if the guy or girl that launched Coke that was their name. Susan Hurley Soda. Like, no, I will go with Coke, you know, or my man Knight from Nike. I mean, like, it's branding. And I think that, Steve, you guys are going to have one heck of a run to the end of the year here. Like I said earlier, I ain't betting against any of you, and I would bet on all of you. So I don't know who to pick. I just know that in the midst of this competition, you're going to put a lot of life insurance in place. And there's going to be people that in 2020, 21, 25, 34 that are going to die that you protected. And if a few more got coverage, not that you wouldn't have worked as hard as you could anyway. And this training today, Steve, inspires one agent or 12 agents or 200 agents or 2,000 agents to do more, then not only did your protection or guidance for your clients make this kind of world a better place, but what y'all provided today, you, Jonathan, and Ivan, will allow more people to put more coverage in place. And that's how you change lives. Because when you're really, 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 really wealthy, I'm not saying life insurance is a great vehicle. It is, but it's more to avoid taxes. Death tax, estate tax. Middle America is to survive. Our clients are survivors too. They're trying to find a way to get to where they need to get to. And our job is to empower them and help them bridge that generational gap so they can take that next step. So I really appreciate it. Mike, thanks for putting it together. I appreciate all your creativity technologically. Steve, we're ending with you because you did the most last month, so it was your final word. You, JP, and Ivan. Do you want to say one thing about the contest, Steve? Your floor is yours, and nobody can retort. Jonathan and Ivan can't.
I'm behind, so I'm trying to catch up. You know, like I said, I think it's a matter of us just motivating each other And the great thing of the vehicle of Family First Life is everybody is out there in the Facebook groups. They're motivating each other to get up earlier, to work harder, to protect more families, to invest more in the business, to hire a lot, sell a lot, all of that stuff. So they just drive me each and every day. And being someone new, some days you need that. Some days you wake up and you're like, you know what, maybe I want to sleep a little later. And then I look and I see Jonathan, he's writing HMS, at a breakfast table at 4 a.m. So I better get up and go do something. So, just thank you for what you do, Shawn, for us. And thank you, Ivan and Jonathan. I appreciate it.
Well, and I'll say this last thing I'll say, and that's the other thing is I was talking to this guy, right? And he's telling me he's an entrepreneur. And I said, no, you're not. And he goes, and I know him. He goes, Shawn, I'm independent. I'm an entrepreneur and I have a spirit. I go, dude, you get up at 7 a.m. Entrepreneurs don't get up. That's like lunchtime, bud. I've been up since 4:30, 4:45. You don't stand a chance, bro. And 7 means you're probably getting up at 8:30 or 9. 7 sounds better. I got 4.5, 5 hours in before you roll out of bed. You don't stand a chance. And I think that to be successful as an entrepreneur too, you better realize there's always somebody out there trying to do the same thing you're doing, right? You get your leads. There are other people that get leads. You're like, well, I have competition in my area. Call earlier. Call quicker. Call more. Be more assertive. Be more presumptive. Be all of the above. But know that there is competition. That's a good thing. Every single morning I get up, Steve, I think somebody right now could be holding a meeting trying to figure out how to do what we do here and do it better than us. I don't go, nobody will ever do what we do. I say, you know what? And so we have to get better and get better and get better and get better so y'all can provide the value and the guidance that you provide to the clients because they trust us. They send something back to somebody they don't know. And we take that vulnerability and protect it and guide them. And that's why I love what we do. And that's why I love what you guys are doing. And we're crushing it at the end of the year. I love seeing what people are doing, what they're doing for their families. And as you know, in hiring, somebody said, what's the greatest thing about building a business? I said, watching people's financial situations change in front of your eyes. Watching people that were in debt that now talk about, you know what, Shawn, in August, I'm taking my kids and I'm going on this vacation. I couldn't pay my mortgage before. Mortgage's up to date, paid my debt off, put a few bucks away. Now I'm working like crazy to have this 8, 9, 10 days off of my kids, which I never thought I could do. And I was living check to check to check. 76% of Americans, I read the other day, state they're living check to check. And we have the vehicle to help them stop that. Because just because you're middle American doesn't mean you have to do that. And I think that's the educational process. So we're going to continue to be unbelievable entrepreneurs and help a ton of families. So thank you, man. I appreciate you, buddy. JP, Ivan, Steve, thank you, man. I'll see you all soon.
Thanks, Shawn.